Good evening and bienvenue, my fond fair friends, family, and subscribers. This is your humble narrator, Diomedes Rouge, here to bring you the weekly one-off. Now, what is going to happen on this one? Why is there some Power Rangers looking some gun on there? Well, simple. Because technically this will be a Power Rangers one, and by technically it's only going to involve one character from one series. The Magna Defender from Lost Galaxy. And why specifically that character? Because he was badass. That's why. I mean, come on. Solid black armor, gold tinted, has golden horns on the side, has a sword that grows and shrinks, can turn into an F-off blaster just by putting it back in the sheath and twisting the handle a certain way. Yes. It would fit in nicely in this world I'm putting him in. Not to mention with the motorcycle and the Zord. Yes. Yes, I like it. So, a lot of you are probably asking, well, where is he going to put him? Well, that's an easy one. I'm putting him in the world of Ruby. Or rather, I'm tossing him into Remnant. And when I say tossing him, I mean metaphorically. For you see, this story starts in a very, how should we say, in a city. A newly made franchise city with moderately sized walls and that is trying to be independent of the other, well, utopian societies, as you would say. It's trying to make a name for itself, to try and stay safe from the grim. And most importantly, it is a city well known for being a safe haven for both human and faunus. Oh yes. A place where no ties, where no blood ties are to be brought, no rivalries, no feuds, just honest happiness. However, that's just the ideal. The reality is, well, harsh, to say it lightly. The city is always craving more power, more food, more supplies. It's always craving more water. It's always craving. And, well, considering they're not a part of any formal town or formal city or anything connected to any nation, they have to fend for themselves. They have to find their food. They have to get enough for the people. They have to farm enough for the people. They have to spread wide and thin. Constantly on the search and grabbing for resources. And sometimes they must do without. And naturally, in harsh times, breed harsher temperaments. But in that time, there's always one family that stood above all in trying to uphold the peace. One family that throughout all hardships has made sacrifices to help others. Throughout all the city, one family that was more than willing to stave off any potential threats. And that would be the Grants. Now, the Grants aren't huntsmen. In fact, they don't really even agree with the huntsmen. Sure, they believe they're necessary, but they don't exactly like them. they view them as more mercenaries. They don't exactly hunt things or do things out of the goodness of their heart or out of compassion. They do it because they're paid, which is nothing wrong with that. They just they just don't like the idea of them being associated with, well, how you would put it, heroic qualities when all they are is, well, mercs. At least as far as the grants are concerned. Of course, granted, that is because the grants have no aura. Yes, through every generation, no grant has had an aura. Even if they married into a family that has had an aura, they have never had, that has had many of their children produce aura. Their lineage does not. And if so, the minor deviations, it is only a minute amount. So minute you would call it a failure nonetheless. Or at least that's how that society would deem it. But in exchange for not having aura, they are born with an innate desire. No! An innate thirst for power. To strengthen their core, body, and mind. And this has led a few of them going down the wrong path. But that does not stop this family. And so we will be taking over, or rather should say, looking at the viewpoint of the youngest son, Ulysses Grant. Yes, Ulysses Grant. Now, Ulysses, he is the youngest son of the Grant household. He trains day in and day out in the way of the sword, just as his father and his grandfather have as well. Their family has held the line and protected this city for all their generations. This is his city. Or rather, that's how he feels. He does not own it. He'll full on admit that. But he loves this city with his heart and soul. And so, he protects it with his heart and soul. Same as his father and grandfather. His mother, well, she enjoys the city, but she would prefer having her quiet time. Reading her books in her study, and taking naps from time to time. Just relaxing and enjoying the day. And Ulysses agrees with this. Granted, he'd wish he could train more with his mother, but at the same point in time, he gets plenty of quality time when they sit and, read books together and such. It may not be as exciting as when he's with his father, but he enjoys it nonetheless. Now, a typical day in the life of Ulysses Grant? Well, that comprises of waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, eating a relatively healthy breakfast, going into the training room with his father, training for 2 hours until around 7:30. Then proceeding to shower, relax until about 8 o'clock or 8:30, depending on what time school is. Go out and go to school, come back home around 4:30, train with his father until about 6:30, and go out and do what he wants to do until 8:30. In which case he is to be home at 9 o'clock sharp and back in bed by 10. And this didn't bother him. For 16, well, until his 16th year, this routine has gone relatively unchanged since the time he was 10. And he was happy with it. His friends all knew about it. His family all knew about it. And he was more than content with living this life day to day. Training with his father in the morning and evening, while his father basically had the job of, well, going out and guarding the city. And what do I mean by guarding the city? Well, he would break up fights and essentially act as the chief of police, even though he was never given such a title. However, the mayor understood exactly what his father did and gave him proper, well, compensation for his deeds. Set them up with a house and everything else. However, all good things must come to an end. For you see, when you involve humanity and fairness for too long, without any sort of clash or collision or acts of violence, there will always be one group in particular that will come in and screw things up. And that would be the White Fang. Oh yes. The White Fang heard of this city, and specifically Adam was detesting it. A place where his brothers and sisters became docile, kowtowed to humanity, yielding to their eternal enemy, who treats them like trash. They're no worse than humans at that point. No, they're worse than humans, for they are traitors. And as such, they'll be punished as so. And so, they got together. The White Fang came together and attacked the city on one big battle. However, to call it a battle would be too... what's an appropriate word? Tame. Calling it a one-sided battle would still be tame. No, this was a slaughter. The White Fang came in via, well, the bullheads. They dropped in, blew stuff up, destroying major facilities one by one, scattering the police. However, this did not stop it. It just made things easier. By the time the third explosion rang out, Ulysses had awoken from his slumber. His father had already left, preparing for donning his arms and armor. And when I say arms and armor, no, I do not mean the picture you see here. That will come later. Do not try and add into things. No. When I say his arms and armor, Ulysses' father wore, well, combat armor. On one side of his belt he had a pistol, and on the other side, a broadsword. And he charged into the fray. And to be fair, he held his own. For a man with no aura, no semblance, He fought the White Fang and took out quite a few dozen of them. They underestimated him because he was human. They underestimated him because he bled. But boy, were they surprised when he made them bleed. Ulysses couldn't stand back any longer. As the minutes passed by, they felt like hours in his mind, curious about whether his father was okay. He went into his cupboard, or rather say closet, grabbed his traditional steel plate armor, or chest plate, and donned it. He knew he didn't have time to don the entire outfit, to don the entire suit of armor, but he donned what he could in a reasonable time. Grabbed his long sword, and going against his mother's wishes, ran out the house. He ran out just in time to see his father facing off against a masked, red-haired man wielding a long, curved blade. His father was badly hurt, badly injured, but he was still fighting, and he was smiling. He was smiling the smile of a dead man walking, of a lion who came across a fight that he did not mind not walking away from. His warrior spirit was shining through as the final collision of blades as the final clash of their blades was about to be rung out through the night. As his father put on his stance, leaving his body wide open for damage, setting himself up by two-handling the grip of his broadsword. He was going to inflict the most amount of damage possible to this opponent, even if it cost him his life. He was going to do something to make him be remembered. And so, the clash began. Adam charging forward, wielding his Odachi. The first slash of his blade coming from overhead, impacting against Ulysses' father's broadsword. But upon the clash, Adam was pushed back. Not far, not hard, but he was pushed back by a mere man. And what he didn't know, a mere man with no aura or semblance. This mere man, mere human, had the strength to counter him? No. Not on your life. Adam, with frustration brewing in his eyes, with anger and wrath mixing together. And yes, there is a difference between the two. He activated his semblance. The father accepted his fate and charged as fast as he could. But it was not fast enough, for the red streak of energy that Adam let out through his blade cut him asunder. Mere feet before he would have made impact. A mere 6 feet is what separated Adam's life from death. At this point, Ulysses saw his father cut down, and anger flashed in his eyes. As he walked over and eyeballed Adam. If looks could kill, Adam would have met the Reaper twice that day, or would have at least come close to him twice. Now Ulysses was not his father. He was not as skilled, nor was he as powerful. But he was fast. And he used that to his advantage as the clash began. Whenever Adam would swing downward with his blade, he would use his long sword to parry it and try and thrust. However, his movements were not as sharp as his father's, and it would instantly lead to him getting kneed, kicked, punched, thrown. An entire 30 seconds this battle continued until Adam spoke up. You would have made a good hunter. I'll be glad to have you out of my hair, though. Why are you doing this? Why attack a city that has done nothing to you? Nothing? You're human. Just by existing, you do something. Just by existing, you belittle our race. Just by existing, you threaten us. That's not true. Yes, human beings are flawed, and so are Faunus. As he stands. But our flaws are what make us stronger. By accepting them and learning from them, can we ever change and grow? Such sentimental dribble. Dribble? No. It's called philosophy, you dumb sack of shit. I think I've had enough of this conversation, as he readies his stance. So am I, as Ulysses states. Taking his sword, bending his arm at a 45-degree angle, bringing it across his chest, turning his body towards the enemy, and planting his feet firmly into the ground. He's going to do something that he was only ever taught, that he's never had a chance to try and field. He's going to do something he knows is stupid, but might just work. Adam charges, but Ulysses waits. As Adam gets closer and closer with each step, Ulysses is looking at this field of battle. It's as if time has slowed down in his perception. He sees the fires roaring. The group of White Fang members gathered round. The fires burning higher and higher. Adam getting closer and closer. He lunges himself straight into the air with all of his strength, sending him 12 feet high. Adam just looks at this going, what? as he takes his blade and swings it around with all his force, causing him to do a spin in the air to gain more centripetal force and momentum, as he then brings it down and attempt to bear all his strength upon his foe. But unfortunately, that's not how it goes. Adam, upon seeing this, reacts first, and his odachi is longer. Nice try, kid, but you're 5 years too early to try that shit. As he extends his blade to the point, Ulysses can't dodge, and by the time he realizes what's happening, the blade has already pierced his throat. As his body brings down the momentum, the blade going in one side and coming out the other, as he falls onto the ground, with Adam dragging his blade out, severing his carotid. Ulysses is now dead. He swings his blade off to the side, causing the blood to spatter onto the ground, leaving a clean and pristine weapon in his hands as he sheaths it. And walks away, ordering his men to keep on going, keep on killing, keep on pillaging, destroy everything and leave nothing left. His last thoughts are of his father, his mother, his grandfather, his friends, his family, his cousins, his aunts, his uncles. Every one of them were about to die, and he could only watch for these last few brief moments. And then blackness came after the cold. However, that is not where the story would end, because it would be too damn boring otherwise. A new dawn arises. The city, completely burned and destroyed. And Ulysses begins to stir. What the? He tries to speak, but he can't. It feels as if he swallowed 1,000 razor blades and then finished it off with a gallon of lemon juice. He begins to violently hack and cough, spitting up a good bit of blood and mucus. In his mind, he thinks, what happened? What happened to me? What's going on? As he looks upon his wrists, and he sees the strange device, these strange bracelets. He examines them more closely. They're black with gold tint. One of them looks like they both are oval in shape and construction. He fools around with one, and then the other. He's trying to figure out what the hell are these things. As a sharp pain in his mind begins to set in. What the hell? You have been chosen to be the defender of this world. What? You, who have suffered true loss, you who have a heart of true hero, you will become the next Magna Defender. What the hell is a Magna Defender, he thinks. You are. Now, be prepared, for your harsh and harrowing road has only just started. Get out of my head. Get out. Get out! He screams internally as the voice silences. As he looks around, the city he once lived in, nothing but ruins. He wanders it. The school where he attended, just a blown out building. The police station, completely ransacked. Everywhere he went, everything was blown up, destroyed, and burnt out. And then he came across the most harrowing fact. The bodies gathered into one place. Why was he left alive? Why was he left untouched? As he goes back to where he was and realizes, no wonder. We were far away from most of the havoc. Dad always did like the house out near the outskirts of the city. Said it kept us far away from the trouble that brewed in it. Helped us keep perspective. Just bad luck, he thinks to himself. My head hurts. I need to get something to eat. I need to find a town. As he begins his search for food, water, and shelter, he's able to find, using his survival techniques, he's able to live off the land for a while. He's able to keep himself fed and drink plenty of water to survive. However, taste has lost all meaning to him. What something tastes like, how something feels, he doesn't feel anything. He doesn't taste anything. It's all bland. The only thing on his mind right now is vengeance. And he won't be satisfied until he gets it. But how? He had no aura. He had no power. He couldn't stand up to that man. Dad always said you never needed aura to fight, yet I was useless against him. What the hell? as he begins to just get angry at himself. Walking up to the nearest tree and beginning to pummel it over and over, causing the splinters to embed themselves into his knuckles. But he does not care. He does not feel it. Pain means nothing to him who has lost everything. And that's when he hears the voice again. You are the Magna Defender. What do you mean, he thinks inside. What is the Magna Defender? Tell me! If it'll give me power, then I'll do it. I'll do anything to get revenge. No. You are a guardian, a protector of the weak, a guardian of the innocent, a defender of truth and justice. Justice? What justice is there in this world? My entire family, my entire city was butchered. Where is the justice? That is correct. Your entire family, your entire city, gone. I know this better than anyone, for I had to watch my entire civilization crumble, to turn to dust before my eyes, to be the last surviving member of it. For decades I went across and searched for my enemy. And what did you do when you found him? I tried to kill him. See, maybe we do have something in common. Just quit spouting this justice bullcrap. Wrong. Mm-hmm. That was not my way, nor is it yours. Revenge taints the heart. Do not forgive. Do not forget. But do not let this moment alter who you are. You are not the weak. You are not the slow. You are not the stupid. You are the Magna Defender. What is the Magna Defender? With your left hand, touch the bottom of the black bracer on your right. He does so. And as he does so, he feels something. A small switch or lever. Now, in a clockwise motion, bring it forward. And he does, swinging out what appears to be this weird key. Now, insert that into the slot on the left bracer. He looks and examines, and he sees it. He takes his arm. He takes the key, inserts it. Now, turn your right hand inward. Now turn your right hand inward, facing where your thumb will be facing at you. He does so. And he feels this astonishing sensation. This immense power overflows his senses, his synapses. It's as if an entire new being is being born within him. This overwhelming amount of energy flooding through his veins. It's as if he was built for this. It's as if it feeds off of him as he stands wearing this black armor, a cape, and a long sword at his side. He looks over into the water and sees his adorned helm. The primary black coloring with silver inlays and a golden frame, with two golden horns off to the side of each of his part of his head. He takes out his sword and examines it. Not only is it a fine blade, but it is sharp and strong. But he notices it has a groove. He turns one of the cross guards completely inwards. Doing so frees the grip as it slides down. Take the sheath and insert the blade inside. What? Do so. As he does, a voice in his head, or rather I should say a voice on the helmet, states, "Magna Blaster, online." What? Locking on to target. As he sees a Beowulf begin to appear in front of him. Shit. Calm yourself. Line up your shot and fire. But I have no ammo. Trust in your ability. Magna Cannon at 100%. Fire! He pulls the trigger and a green orb of energy flies out of the barrel. Upon impacting the Beowulf, completely vaporizes it, sending a concussive wave, scattering what's left of the bone and sinew, before they turn to dust as well. What is this power? This is the power of the Magna Defender. Your power. The power I leave to you to change the fate of the world that you live in. The power to truly be a guardian. When you are ready, we will talk again. Until then, stay on your path, young defender. And remember this. What? Earth's defender never surrenders. As the voice is gone. That is cheesy as hell. That was weird as hell. This is weird as hell, he thinks. Because he cannot speak. He reverses the process and pulls out the sword yet again. He gives it a few practice swings, realizing how light it is. And when he goes at a tree, it cuts it cleanly in half, as if it was a hot knife through butter. I could get used to this. But how do I change back? Do you wish to deactivate Magna Defender? Yes. And suddenly, the suit disappears. And all he's left with is the sword at his hip and the bracers on his arm. As he examines the sword further, he notices it's changed in stature. Instead of being a longer blade like it is in his suited form, it's shrunken down to a much shorter style. What the? What is this? Self-defense form activated. Partial transformation sequence required. What do you mean? As the bracers light up. Area is too dangerous for user to be undefended in. Either full transformation is required, or we'll keep in basic power. Use basic power in order to keep sword and crossbelt online. Weird, but okay. So, and like this. Wait a minute. You can understand me? I have set up I have an electromagnetic link set up to your brainstem. Whatever you think, I know and can answer. Wait. Can others hear you? If required, yes. So, wow, he thinks. Do you have any medical functions? Yes. Basic medicine is part of my trade. Or rather to say, basic medicine is part of my utility kit. Can you fix my neck? Damage to neck is beyond the power supply, as well as the capabilities of this unit. Currently taking 25% of the morphing grid's power in order to keep you stable. Morphing grid? Where all morphers draw their power from. Morphers? Correct. Due to far distance away from said grid, the power supply you have access to is quite limited. I see. Wow. And this hurts. Indeed. Severe trauma to breathing airways has, well, more than likely severed your vocal cords. It's a miracle you were able to survive even with the morphing grid's power. I see. So I'm a dead man walking. Most definitely, Master. Well then, let's get going, partner, and see where this lonesome road leads. And that's where I'll end this off at, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you do come again. And minor update for those of you that are watching. Decided that next week is going to be Deku, and then finally we're going to end off the 6 weeks with, well, Asta. Have fun, have a blast, do stick around my channel for more content. And don't forget to, well, leave a comment, tell me what you think. I feed off of that. Bye-bye.